All right, here we go. Maino!
Hey.
Welcome back to Vlad TV.
Thank you for having me, my brother.
One of my OG guests that was actually doing interviews with me during the DVD era.
In the street.
That's right. That's right, in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn.
That's right. And actually, that was one of the first interviews that got released on Vlad TV because you kind of copied during the transition.
Right, on YouTube, right?
On YouTube, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, lots to talk about, but first of all, you know what we're starting with.
What's good?
The 50 Cent beef. Or whatever you want to call it at this point.
Right.
Now, Tony Ayo's my man. He's a regular on my show, so we're not going to be just, trashing 50 or whatever else. We're going to talk about the situation. So, I guess it started when you guys were talking about the 50 Cent documentary, the Diddy documentary that 50 Cent executive produced.
Well, technically, we wasn't really talking about the documentary. We're just, in general, having a conversation about how would you feel if somebody did a documentary on you. It was an in general conversation. However, I do understand why somebody would take it that way. Like, because I probably would feel like if it was me, that people were talking about me. But going into it, that wasn't the intention. You know what I mean? It was a question about how would you feel if a doc was done on you. You know what I mean?
Didn't you guys call it a mockumentary or something like that?
See, this is what I'm saying. Like it's about interpretation.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's context. I mean, I can't speak for nobody else, but it was basically based off of how if somebody had done something like that to you, like if a documentary on you, and without your consent, is it a documentary or is it something else?
Well, most documentaries are done without the person's consent.
Right.
That's just the nature of a documentary.
That.
Now, there are some, like, for example, the Eddie Murphy documentary that he's involved in, but usually these are more softball documentaries because notice how the whole picking up of the trans story was not in the, in the Eddie Murphy documentary.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Right?
Listen to what I'm saying, though. And I got to be very careful with this because the thing is this. Words, when they come out sometimes, the context of them, right? Were we specifically talking about the documentary? No. In the times that we living in, it's going to be perceived that we were. So I understand why he took it that way because I probably would have took it the same way.
Right.
Now, the question was like, is that legal for somebody to do? This is a general conversation. I said, if you Googleable, what's the word? Googleable?
Yeah, Googleable.
Googleable.
Let's run with that.
If you had any sense of notoriety or you've been in the spotlight, so to speak.
A public figure.
Right, then it kind of come with the territory.
Correct.
Would I want that for myself? Probably not, but, it is what it is. But I get it from both angles, though. Were we specifically trying to, shame what he had going on? Nah.
I mean, look, you know how many DJ Vlad documentaries there are on YouTube at this point?
Yeah.
Probably like a dozen.
Right.
Right? I mean, full-blown,
but
hour-long.
Everything is on YouTube, though, Vlad. This is different.
Well,
this is a major production.
I understand that, but it's kind of the same thing. Once you put yourself out there, you can do something on Maino.
Once you out there, people get to be able to take things from, from this place and that place and build a story on it, right? So, I mean, the conversation wasn't about that documentary in particular, but just about, the legalities behind being able to do one in general, period, point blank.
Well, right. You could do a documentary. You could also get sued for that documentary. It goes hand in hand. From what I understand, Diddy's actually suing 50 for like $1 billion or something over this documentary, and that all comes with, with the playing field.
Right.
And
so where it gets taken out of context is that when it's like, oh, we was defending, we having an in general conversation about this or that. The podcast that we got is not so much built on trying to tear other people down. If you see the clips that we actually going rival for, it's really us talking about each other, or like me talking about myself or a story or whatever we got going on. We specifically said that we not gonna, be running, what's my opinion on this person or what's my opinion on that person or trying to make, a platform based around our opinions on others. So something can happen and we can internalize it, right? So it's like, we're not specifically talking about that documentary and the details of it, but the legalities on if you could even make a documentary. But I get it. Like I said, I understand, if the way he took it, because I probably would have took it the same way, especially with the fact that all the backlash he was getting anyway.
Well, you get a lot of backlash. It's also like one of the number one.
I'm not saying
things
that.
on Netflix.
I'm not saying
the
that.
two kind of go
Vlad,
hand in hand.
But Vlad, don't take what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I understand why he would take it that way, right? Based off of the backlash he was getting at the same time our podcast dropped, and it felt like probably a bunch of niggas just coming at him.
Right. Well, so then the back and forth started. So he said that I guess the building you guys are filming in owes money, and he's going to buy the building and buy half of your podcast.
Right.
You responded. You put a picture of him with like a wig, and you did mention that he's the one that helped you out early on in your career.
Absolutely.
And we talked about that on our show at one point,
100%.
and I thought that was dope to actually,
100%.
Say, listen,
Right.
I respect the dude, but
listen,
if we're on, then it's on.
Right. Look, first of all, I don't think it's a real beef.
No.
I don't think it's that serious. Sometimes men have misunderstandings, and it is what it is. I don't think it's nothing, like that at all. He said what he said, things got said. Look, I don't think he worried about it one bit.
Not at all.
I think he's somewhere smiling, living it up, doing what he doing. I don't think he give two fucks, honestly.
Yeah, I think that it was promo for the video. I think maybe some people that watched the back and
And it's
forth
good
said,
for us. I said beef 150 is good for business.
Yeah, listen. I remember you and I spoke, and I was like, I'm about to be in town, come do my show, and if you want me to do, y'all's show, I'll come through. And you're like, oh, we don't have guests.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, shit, I never noticed that.
Right.
I just never thought about it.
Right.
Because most podcasts have guests.
Right.
But I'm like, okay, that's smart. If you guys, could pull it off without the guests, Joe Budden did a good job with that, with his own internal crew. That's definitely stronger and better off than having to constantly chase guests the way I have to do it.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely. I like it like that.
Yeah. So when you said that, I got it right away. And I'm like, okay, that's smart. You guys, 4 known dudes coming together, talking. And if you guys don't need any guests.
Having fun, we laughing, we're giving game at the same time. It's light on one hand and then it's serious on another. It's just our point of views, from our perspectives on fatherhood and relationships and how we just maneuvering through life.